we're going to do in this video is finish up our review for the final exam, and we're going to do that by going over the review problems for Chapter 3 on statistics. We did 1 through 20 on the first two videos. We're going to start this with number 21. Out of section 3.1 talks about some basic definitions of statistics, and we have to determine whether these three values are numerical or categorical. Bowling scores are numerical. You can find the greatest, the least, the range, the average. Colors of shirts in your closet is categorical because those are based upon groups: white shirts, blue shirts, green shirts. Lengths of text messages, these are numerical because you could average your length of characters in a text message. You could find the shortest text message or the longest text message. That is numerical. Number 22 is about reading a bar graph, and we want to see how many birthdays are before April 1st. So in January, there were 3. February, there were 4. March, there were 2. So there are a total of 9 birthdays between those 3 months before April 1st. Number 23, we have a data set, and we want to find the mean or the average height of this data set. So of course, the average or the mean is we're going to add up all of these trees and their height and divide by the number of trees, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And my average here is going to be 14.5 feet. Again, all of your exam will be multiple choice. This one was not, but they will all be multiple questions. For number 24, what we're going to do here is the same data set we're going to take a look at, except this time we want to find the median, the middle height. So I rank these trees from shortest to tallest, and I'm guessing my middle height is going to be somewhere here physically in the middle of this data. So I'm going to start eliminating my data points from smallest tree to tallest tree, second shortest, second tallest, third, fourth, shortest, fifth, or fourth tallest. My median is 14.1 feet. Those two values are in the middle. I have 2 values because I have an even number of data points. These were different. I would average those 2 values, but 14.1 is my median. Here we've interviewed some smokers to see how many cigarettes they smoke each day. Here are the findings. What would be the most fair measure for central tendency? The most fair measure for central tendency would be my average or my mean, because I do not have an outlier. All of these numbers are pretty much the same. That's a tight group. If I would have had an outlier, I would have gone for my median, but without an outlier, I can use my mean or my average for central tendency. My next set of problems here with number 26, the spread of data out of section 3.5 and histograms and central tendencies. We have all kinds of things going on here. Part A, what score was obtained by more than a score than any other student? The most frequent score was the 97. That is my mode. The histogram from this data set. This would be my first choice for my histogram, and the reason I would say that is because all of my 97s are right there in that tallest bar. This histogram, the tallest bar is the scores are between 30 and 40. That's not going to work. Be the first choice. Number 27 out of section 3.6, the spread. We have 2 data sets, data set A and data set B. Notice that B is obtained by adding 12 to each data point, and we have data set A, the standard deviation is S. The standard deviation for set B, since 12 was added to each data point, that would be also S. The spread would be the same for both. So with the same value being added to each data point, standard deviation would not change. So there's what you have for 27. Number 28. Number of words in a blog, the average is 123 with a standard deviation being 8. What does standard deviation mean? Well, it means on average the number of words from Jane's blog differs from 123 by 8 words. Could be 8 words more or 8 words less, but the difference is by 8. So there's for number 8. Number 29, mean, median, and mode, or central tendency, variance, range, and standard deviation all measure the spread. Number 30, let's find the median and range of this data set for a stem leaf diagram. Let's start with the range because the range is going to be a little bit easier. This is a little tricky with reading these values. 8 bar 1 is 810 as my key, sort of as a sample. The maximum value is 11 and a 1, 1110, because 8 is in the hundreds place, 1 is in the tens place. So I have 1110 minus my minimum value, which is 700, 7 bar 0, which would be the case for the smallest value. So what I'm going to do from here is subtract those two values, get a range 410. For my median, this is going to be easy as well. I'm going to eliminate my highest value and my lowest value. And I'm going to keep eliminating high values and low values and work my way into the center of the data. I'm going to estimate it's going to be somewhere around in here. I can sort of physically make a guess. Second highest, second lowest, third highest, third lowest, fourth highest, fourth lowest, fifth, fifth, sixth, sixth, seventh, seventh, eighth, eighth, ninth, ninth, 10th, 10th, 11th, 11th, and my median is at 920. So I physically work my way into the center of the data by eliminating the highest, lowest, second lowest, third highest, third lowest. I got my way right to 920. The shape of each one of these histograms. When all of the bars are about the same, that would be a uniform histogram. When the bars step down towards the left, this is skewed to the left. When the bars step down to the right, this is skewed right. When the bars move up symmetrically, they wave up and wave down. Those are the general shapes of histograms. Some examples. Now, the last problem we have here is I want to find the mean and the mode of this data set's frequency table. So it all gets started with a midpoint for the creation of the mean and mode to solve this sort of problem, since we don't have the actual data set. So what I'm going to do here is to create my midpoint between 0 and 12, which would be 6. My midpoint between 12 and 24 would be 18. 24 and 36 would be 30. 36 and 48, my midpoint would be 42. 48 and 60, my midpoint would be 54. Now, what I'm going to do to find my mean or my average, I'm going to say there were 10 data points whose midpoint was 6. I'm going to say there were 8 data points whose midpoint was 18. 7 at 30, 6 at 42, 4 at 54. Now, I have to divide that by the number of frequencies, because those are my number of data points. So I'm going to add up all of those values. I'm up with 35. So I'm going to say 10 times 6 plus 8 times 18 plus 7 times 30 plus 6 times 42 plus 4 times 54, then divide all of that by 35, come up with an average 25.2. So there's how you find the mean using the frequency table. To find the mode, I am going to go to my most crowded interval, which there are 10 data points. That's the most crowded interval. I'm going to slide over and read off my midpoint 6.